Now we are going to talk about Boolean. Boolean represent one of the two values that is true or false. And in programming, you often need to know if an expression is true or false. You can evaluate any expression in Python and get one of two answer. The answer is whether it is true or whether it is false. So when you compare two values, the expressions is evaluated by Python, and Python will returns the Boolean answer. So let's say we give a 10 equal greater than 9. This will return true, and this one will return false, and this one will return false either. 10 is less than 9. If we try to output on the terminal, the first one, this is the correct answer because 10 is greater than 9. The number two, 10 is equal to 9. It is wrong. And the last one is also wrong. So basically, this is to output the Boolean in Python. So the output will only be two options, true and false. So we give another example. Let's say that A equal to 300 and B is 100. Now we make a condition. If B is greater than A, so if this B is greater than A, then we print something. B is greater than A. Else, if this is not true, then we are going to print B is not greater than A. Let's see. So the answer is B because we know that B is less than A. So if we make this value is A lower than B, then the answer will be this one. Print B is greater than A. Okay, the next one is we try to using bools by evaluating values and variable. So basically, this is a Boolean in Python is a built-in functions. So the function looks like this. So we can use these built-in functions to evaluate the value inside here, as we know that this can be anything. This can be list, this can be tuple, string, and so on. So if anything here, if we assign value anything in here, like this or maybe like this one, it will return true or false because these functions only return the true and false. Similar like we output before in print function and also with the condition. So let's say we want to output a is equal to bool, and in here we want to say that this okay, just say we assign a string in here, and now if we print a, it will say true. What about we assign a number in here? It also will return true. So now we try to assign two values here. Let's say we give this one hello and y is 15. So if we print both of this, you know that both have true value. But because of, sorry, we should give something here. We not only output the result, but also we want to output in Boolean value. So this is A and this is Y. We know and we see that both of them are true. So basically, in Boolean, most values are true. If it has some sort of content, like as I mentioned before, is if you put anything in here, the condition in here is something considered to be a value, not an empty value, then it will be true. So if we try to assign something not doesn't have even though we know that it has a value, but it will be considered as false. Let me try to give another example in here. I will comment it first. So let's say that we want to give something like number one. We know that this will consider as true, but let's see if we assign zero in here. It will consider as false because zero is in Python. This will be considered as false. So also, we try to look at another example. Let's say that it is a list. Okay, let me erase all this Visual Studio Code. Let's say this is A has a list value. Let's say it has apple, it has cherry, and it has banana. If we want to see whether it is true or false, we can say print bool A. So this is true. What about if this one? Okay, I'm going to put B in here and it is an empty list. So the output here will be false because it has no content. Even though this is a type of array, I mean a type of a list. So basically in here, it's not considered as true because this list is empty. So if we print it on terminal, we see that this is false. So similar, if we try to put a string here, but the string is empty string, this is considered as false. So the other examples for all kind of data types which is false, as long as you put something, for example, this is a tuple, we know that this is empty, so it will also be considered as false because this one has empty value, but it will be different if you assign something like this. Now it considered as true. Also with other data types, for example, we are going to learn this one, or maybe we have learned it before, but we are going to dive deep more. Let's say we assign a dictionary. This is a dictionary in Python, so there is no more value in here, so it is basically an empty dict. So this is also will return false. Okay, we move on the next example. One more value or object in this case evaluates to false, and that is if you have an object that is made from a class with this one len value. These functions that return zero or false. So let's see on the example. Let's say we have a class of my friend. Okay, now we assign a function here. This is called len. This is basically the two underscore. It has a special functions inside of Python, and then we try to return zero. We know that zero in Boolean will have false value. So now when we try to assign it into an object, my friend, we try to print it in Boolean. So my object, we see the result is also false. But if you put it a return field as one, then it will return true. So basically, functions can return a boolean as well. So you can create a function that returns boolean value like this or like this. This is will also return true. But remember, in Python, true is start by uppercase, not lowercase. It is not similar as JavaScript. And if you return false, then it will be false as well. Remember, in Python, booleans start from uppercase, false or true. This will return false. So the another example, we can also check if an object is considered to be some data types. For example, let's say we have x as 200s, and then we want to check it whether it is a string or an integer. We can use a built-in functions within the Python called it as is instance. This is a built-in function in Python, so you do not need to import it. When you use it, it will compare an object, and then we'll check whether this object belongs to particular class or data type. So for example, if we want to check whether this is instance, basically this will return true or false either, because it only checks whether it is correct or not. Is instance will have objects to compare. So for example, we assign x here, and then we want to check whether it is an integer or not. We know that this is integer, so it should return true. Yeah, but if we try to assign a string here, let's see, it will return false. So it's so simple to use Boolean in Pythons. About this built-in function, we are going to talk a little bit about it later, but basically it is only to compare whether it has a certain value of class belongs to this object. So it will return true or false in the functions, because you know that it has a bool. This is Boolean. It only return true or false. So here you can read the documentation here, because it says that it only an object if it is an instance or of a class or a subclass thereof, a tuple as instant, blah blah blah, and so on. So basically, this can be used to check not only integer but also whether it is string or not. We know that by assign this integer here, we know that this is false because it's not integer. It is basically a string. But when we assign this string, now it will return to true. So also the same, if we assign this one, this is called a dictionary. So let's say that if this string or not, this will return false. But if we use dig, because dig is also built-in function in Python, so you do not need to import it. Now it will return true. So this is the way how we use uh, Boolean in Python. So I hope you understand. And if you are not, you might rewind this video and try to practice more on how to use Booleans.